he really with the FBI? He's really a garbage man!
This video is brought to you by viewers like you. Thank you. Make sure to subscribe and help get this video to 4,000 likes.
And I say, hey!
Arthur imagines what it'd be like to have the perfect dad, whether he be a drag racer, a transformer, or just an ordinary dad who doesn't boink your teacher on the weekends. Speaking of which, Mr. Ratburn announces the class will be taking a field trip to see where their parents work, including Francine's dad. Catherine questions why Francine isn't mortified at the thought of her friends finding out their father is a garbage man. Catherine bluntly asks her father when he's going to get a real job, even though garbage collectors tend to get paid more than most white-collar jobs, including teaching. The next day, the kids go to visit Mr. Crosswire, who apparently modeled his entire career and wardrobe off Matilda's dad.
Listen, you little wiseacre. I'm smart, you're dumb. I'm big, you're little. I'm right, you're wrong. And there's nothing you can do about it.
He offers to let the kids test drive the cars when Mr. Ratburn cuts the tour short.
I think we'll pass. Back to the bus, everyone. We're running late.
Thanks a lot, you soggy sack of party poop. The kids are en route to their next stop when Francine's dad drives by in his smelly-ass truck. Francine distracts everyone by spitting her gum on the ceiling. Gross. The kids next visit the Brains ice cream shop, where Buster creates a new ice cream flavor by combining pizza and bananas. Whoa, what the hell's all that other junk? Was that all just sitting at the bottom of the dispenser? When's the last time they cleaned this damn machine? The class is going to visit Mr. Frensky tomorrow, and Francine worries her father will embarrass her in front of her friends. Francine is so self-conscious that she tries to get her mom to make her dad cancel the field trip. She goes on to parrot her older sister as Francine claims her dad should be ashamed of his job.
Well, why does he have to have such a stupid job? Why can't he do something exciting like everyone else?
Well, why don't you get a job to pay for rent and food, and then I'll ask for your damn opinion. Francine doesn't have the heart or the balls to tell her dad what she really thinks of his job. The next day, the class gets to the dump, and Francine tries to save her ass by claiming her dad is working undercover. She tells her friends not to blow his cover, unless they want the FBI to wipe boogers on their neck. That's what that gesture means, right? Muffy sets one foot inside the dump, and threatens to sue if she gets any dirt on her. Mr. Frensky ends up winning over his daughter's class after he shows them all the deadly machines he gets to work with. And don't get me wrong, all of this is badass. But how exactly did the school get approval to take these kids to an open dump site? Dangerous equipment aside, these kids are definitely going to need a tetanus shot after this field trip. Mr. Frensky next takes the kids to a hand-built playground he made from recycled materials. Francine comes to appreciate her father's job as she proudly proclaims her father is a garbage man. And the episode ends before we get to see Mr. Ratburn take a private field trip to Mr. Reed's bakery to have his buns glazed. Let's review. Francine became embarrassed of her father's job, even though garbage collection is a damn respectable profession. She did everything in her power to keep his job a secret from her friends and tried to get him to cancel his on-site field trip. She lied to her friends and threatened them with death if they told anyone about her father's job. And it was only when Francine took the time to see what her father does that she came around to appreciate his job. But that's still not as bad as the time Francine threw out her dad's favorite bike. The episode opens with Francine pushing all her friends to the ground so she can get to her bike. Looks like nobody taught this apathetic asshat how to say excuse me. Arthur explains how Francine mastered the two-wheeler while the rest of her friends were still pissing in their Pampers. Thankfully, Karma's caught up with the shit-brained show-off, and now Francine can barely pedal her teeny-tiny bike without having the saddle ride all the way up her ass.
Ouch! Ouch! Ouch!
Francine's parents explain how they just don't have enough money to get her a new bike. Francine says she'll positively die if she doesn't have a bike. Is that a promise? Mr. Frensky generously offers to give his daughter his old bike, but not before taking it out for one last hurrah. Francine reluctantly accepts the paltry yet practical present in the most backhanded way possible.
At least it's big enough.
I mean, you could always have no bike and just walk your ungrateful ass to school. The next day, Francine pulls up to school in her brand new hand-me-down and immediately starts capping.
I could have had any bike I wanted, but I chose this one.
Muffy jumps at the chance to shit on Francine's crappy bike, while simultaneously bragging on herself.
Too bad you couldn't get one like mine.
Why do you even have a bike? Did your limo run out of gas? In class, the kids are learning about the history of the wheel, and Buster takes the opportunity to humiliate Francine in front of the whole class.
Can anyone tell us what these early Sumerians might have done with their new wheel?
Build Francine's bicycle?
See, Francine, doesn't feel so good when it happens to you, does it? Muffy tries to defend her best friend, but ends up reading her for absolute filth.
It's not her fault she has to ride an ugly old bicycle and wear unfashionable hand-me-downs. Just think how you would feel.
Damn, the library is open. Instead of telling everyone to back off, like she normally does, Francine decides to ditch her bike in the middle of the woods as if it was Todd from Fox and the Hound. That night, Francine tries to shame her father into buying her a new bike.
Why couldn't you just get me a new bike?
We don't have enough money right now.
Hey, Mr. Frensky, not to belittle your point, but remember what you said a few episodes ago?
What would I do with money?
This is what you would do with money. No, I'm not talking about getting a new bike. I'm saying you should use the money to ship Francine's greedy ass to Siberia. The next day, Francine is horrified to find the trash collectors have confiscated her bike, even though it's her own damn fault for leaving it out all night. Francine then lies to her friends that the bike was stolen.
Can I draw or what?
What? Her friends convince her to go to the principal, where she digs herself in deeper by claiming an evil garbage truck tried to kill her while stealing her bike. Principal Haney stupidly believes her story, while her friends assume Francine is covering for the real thief.
And now the question is, which one of us knows how to drive a bike-eating truck?
Francine then tells her parents that the bike was stolen by thieves in helicopters, because she clearly wants to be caught in a lie. The Frensky parents believe their deceitful daughter, while Catherine can smell Francine's bullshit from a mile away. Francine nearly comes clean to her father when she chickens out at the last second. Meanwhile, Muffy assumes Binky stole Francine's bike, and rallies the rest of the students into an angry mob to run him out of town. The kids are about to dogpile Binky when Francine finally tells the truth.
Now everyone hates me, thanks to you.
Don't worry, Muffy. Everyone already hated you. Mr. Frensky finds the bike in the garbage and comes to the realization that his daughter is also garbage. Francine admits she threw out the bike so her friends would stop teasing her.
And I thought if it got stolen, maybe you'd buy me a new one.
There it is. Francine tries to make it up to her father by customizing the bike with junkyard scrap, because trash deserves trash. The two finish pimping Francine's ride, and Mr. Frensky takes it for a spin. The episode cuts to black before we see Mr. Frensky decide to steal the bike for himself. Let's review. Francine tried to guilt her parents into buying her a new bike, even though it was clear they couldn't afford to. She turned her nose up at her father after he offered her a perfectly usable bike and was embarrassed to be seen with it in public. Her ego was so fragile that she ditched her bike and then lied about it to try to save her own ass. She only told the truth after her friends threatened to beat the shit out of Binky. And even though she finally apologized to her dad, it's clear Francine has no respect for her father or his line of work. God help her when she grows up and has to get her own blue-collar job just to pay the rent. F you, Francine.
And I say,
Hey, I have a Patreon. Sign up at patreon.com/mattneff to get your name in the thank you credits, along with early access to every FUDW and the chance to vote for future episodes. If there's a movie or show you'd like me to talk about, top-tier patrons can commission a review for my channel. Check out the link in the description to become an FUDW superfan. Also, I'm now on Cameo, so make sure to check out my profile to get a personalized FU video. Coming up next.
She's like bacteria from a space meteorite. She spreads everywhere.
and I say, hey, what a wonderful kind of day. If you could learn to work